Do we want to get right into the clip, or do we need some lead up for you guys? I mean,
Zach's
always like, I'm the old one on the podcast, but I somehow have all the cultural references, and you don't have no shit about the internet or its biggest content creators. Okay. But Asmongold, I mean, went super viral like 2 hours ago. It just took off, because he did this clip, which I think we're about to queue up here.
Does he usually talk about politics?
So I'd like to break that down a little bit because, and I think I'll do it more after the clip, but what I will say, the story of Asmongold and the story of him talking more about politics is sort of the story of YouTube and like how how people have evolved on YouTube to sort of get the most clicks and get the most views. And I think Asmongold and sort of being thrust into talking about politics is like a perfect example with this clip today from him talking about Israel and Palestine.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's take a quick look at his YouTube channel before we take a look at this clip. I watched some of his content earlier today in preparation for today's show, and I'm going to be honest, guys. I was not impressed. I was not impressed. I'm not really sure what the opinion is. Like, I get that he made some relatable points or whatever, but I just didn't find that it was delivered in all that compelling of a fashion. Do you maybe have some insight into this incredible and extraordinary popularity?
So he's massive. He is old school World of Warcraft, like me. I actually at one point was even on the same server in a guild with Asmongold way back in the day. But this was after he was already streamer famous, so it was kind of like a streamer guild. Like, yes, give me the applause. That's right. I know the worst people in the world.
Brotherhood of the Blade.
If there's someone that you think is a piece of, I probably have their cell phone number. But this guy was a World of Warcraft guy, and he just did World of Warcraft only forever. And he actually had great insights on the game, because he really loved the game.
How to maximize your increase in gold in World of Warcraft.
Well, yes, it started there, but then it was like larger things about game design, and he actually became like one of the biggest voices and really blew up during 2019 and then the pandemic, when a lot of Twitch streaming really kind of coalesced and became a giant new like monoculture thing on the internet in the pandemic. But then kind of what happened with Asmongold is, if you want to keep growing on YouTube, it actually isn't about playing video games. It's about watching YouTube videos and reacting to them. And as the react culture grew on YouTube, Asmongold saw that lane and went for it. So Asmongold went from telling you how to make gold to talking about women's issues or why you shouldn't tip on checks at restaurants, or basically any like spicy social issue. There we go. Asmongold viewer. And so just through the act of wanting to grow bigger on YouTube and like wanting to grab the React train, he like has now thrust himself into political situations like the one we're about to watch.
Ooh, okay, well, that's really interesting because I wasn't aware if he dabbled much in political commentary. And obviously, everyone has opinions on politics. I mean, we all live in this country. We're all entitled to have an opinion. Do you want Kamala to win? Do you want Trump to win? Who cares? You're allowed to have those opinions. But I do think it makes a little bit more sense, Griffin, the context, as far as the context goes with this clip that we're about to watch, that this is not someone who knows a lot. This is not someone who...
This is the dumbest, dirtiest guy you know. Filthy person.
Exactly. And again, not to justify what we're about to watch. It's despicable, but I think that does make it a little bit more understandable, I hope, maybe.
Let's relate to him.
Yeah, let's take a look here. And actually, friend of the show, Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk, decided to post someone that, in my opinion, not in my opinion, but in my from what I know, has never engaged with Asmongold. I don't think that Kyle has really talked about his content or really taken note of it in any meaningful way. But here he is, not only posting this, but actually tagging Asmongold himself, potentially putting up some sort of a clash, a debate. Who knows? If
Asmongold, will you go on KKF?
Let's hope. But either way, Kyle says the depths of casual repulsive depravity here is shocking to me. Let's not spoil, though, exactly the contents of this clip. Should we take a look, boys?
Let's watch.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah, take a sip. Take a big old sip.
This dude's drinking from a 32-ounce styrofoam
And how
cup.
much did they kill? As many as they can.
Jesus.
They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
This is just straight up Hitlerian rhetoric.
No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
Yeah, at least Hitler took a bath. Jesus Christ. That's wow. Yeah. That's Asmongold. That's the general breakdown.
This is what happens to a society when you elevate somebody who got famous playing World of Warcraft in their mom's basement for 12 hours a day, just shitting in a diaper, a Depend adult undergarment every single day, pissing in 2 liters of Mountain Dew, not brushing their teeth, not going outside, and you elevate this person as some sort of a god so that 11 and 12-year-olds tune into him and let him inform them about the world. This guy who I guarantee you does not have a single person his own age that he can relate to. I doubt he ever leaves his hope. And it's crazy too, because that guy is unfathomably culturally impactful in a way that none of us even ever considered up until this point. I saw a viral tweet maybe 6 weeks ago that was highlighting how disgusting Asmongold was, and it was like everything I've learned about Asmongold was against my will because of Twitter Blue now promoting him to the world, right? So you have this guy who is not culturally insignificant, but has absolutely none of the tools that you would typically rely on to get to that place. So he can just say this Kanye West shit. He can just come out here and say this most like hysterical, deranged drivel because he's not going to get the kind of cultural backlash that a regular, famous person would get. Like even Kanye West had his whole shit up when he came out and was doing the Tim Pool circuit. He got dropped from Levi's when he was going to have that. He's no longer with Adidas. His accounting firm dropped him. All these kinds of things. When you're just a weird guy known as Asmongold, that's not what it says on your birth certificate. He wasn't shout out and named Asmongold. He has a social security card. He's not ever going to be properly, canceled for that. So why wouldn't he just go out here and say the most deranged?
Someone in chat says he's apparently currently debating Hasan. If we can pull that up, I don't know if that technology is possible, but it seems like it's going off right now as we speak. Drama alert! Ring the bell, folks! All you slappies, come to the trough. Yeah, I mean, like, before getting into the larger story, just focusing on some of the statements here, like. The inferior race thing, it's like, so you're the superior race that has like the skin of like a fresh zombie. Like you're it's like you are not what all these guys are really representing white people poorly. We need to have if they're gonna represent white people, can we get some moisturizer in there? Can we get some flossing or something? Because I just don't think it's helping us whites that much that he's the representative.
Also, the weird thing, and it's kind of stupid to even try to engage on the merits of these arguments when we're just talking about straight up racist Nazi drivel. But I still do think it's worth discussing. I feel like sometimes when people say different cultures, they don't realize that yes, but we're all human beings. Different cultures is not the same thing as different species. You know what I mean? Different, even if you don't like another culture as much or don't identify with it or relate to it nearly as much as you do others, that doesn't mean that those people in those other cultures are somehow responsible for everything that their government stands for or Sharia law or whatever. If anything, they're also victims of those circumstances. If you're someone growing up in a country that has Sharia law, I mean, you're a victim of that. It's not your fault that you were born under Sharia law. It's not your fault that you can be punished for homosexuality or whatever. You're just a human being that happened to be born somewhere in a different part of the world that had a different set of rules than where Asmongold was born.
And
so again, I know
this was all covered in the World of Warcraft expansion, Warlords of Draenor. It was with the Blood Orcs and going back in time to Draenor. So he needs to reconsult
better than anyone.
He had the founding principles. He needs to reconsult his text. It's all in there. Blizzard laid it out for him. But I do think this is like a larger sense because I have watched
its way. So did Asmongold.
Yeah, that's right. Check out Warlords of Draenor, guys, on a slept-on expansion. But you know, with these YouTuber guys and like this React culture, you take someone like Asmongold that knows nothing but has to have an opinion on everything they're reacting to. And so someone who has no real politics, but is kind of like a leaning right, grew up in Texas, is very socially isolated, and just has to kind of commit to points, has slowly kind of garnered him into kind of resurrecting the Gamergate culture in terms of what I would describe his audience as. It's kind of like the modern Gamergate culture. Like every time there's like a new female protagonist in a video game, or there's the danger that there's a trans character.
Big enough.
I swear to God, when
do that?
there is going to be they still do that. Don't worry. But there's a lot of, and of course there's always like the sort of apocalypse on the horizon when Grand Theft Auto 6 adds a trans character. That is when the internet will actually
Has that happened?
No, Grand Theft Auto 6, I do think there will be a trans character, and I do think it will end the internet.
A main character, like one of the
no, it will be a side character.
The main character is a woman this time, though, and people were already pissed about that.
The main character is a brother and a sister, so fact check. We do fact check on this show.
I'm sorry. What does a sister mean, Griffin?
So for me, it's like, yeah, he probably has some sort of general like nasty beliefs, but I think that when you have to kind of commit to the React culture, to reacting to every video, and to not really having any core politics, you will just go down these kind of little ridoid wormholes and just kind of have dumb, not nuanced, totally basically no information takes on stuff that turns you into like a real nasty person.
Yeah, definitely some of the low effort analysis. Like he didn't even really try to justify. A lot of times you'll hear people go into the classic like, oh, Israel's the only democracy in the Middle East, so therefore we have to protect them because they're a bastion of human rights. Like they'll try to intellectualize their racism and talk about, why actually liberal values are alive and well in Israel, and that's why it's important to support it. They'll try to go down this rabbit hole. This guy is just like, white people based, brown people cringe.
It's very George W. Bush era, like in terms of like that's the last time he was forced to think about Muslims, and so he just is like copy pasting that. Like it really seems like it does seem, not to defend him, but it just seems more low IQ than like he has like a lot of like race theories or anything. Like
that's
I don't think
saying. Yeah,
he does.
It's not like he's even coming at this from a like I've really thought it out that much. It's more just like a knee jerk like, this is probably what people want me to say about this, so I'm going to say it. And that makes it even more disgusting, frankly, the fact that he's so cowardly in that sense, that he's just willing to say that kind of shit when, people are literally being burned alive in Gaza. Like this is not some, hypothetical discussion about race IQ or something. Like, no, people are literally fucking burning alive as we speak, thanks to our government and thanks to the government of Israel. And this is all you have to say. I mean, it's reprehensible.
Yeah, it's stinky and gross. Do we have the pictures of his sink? Do we have the pictures of his room?
Oh. Yeah, we've got it somewhere. Let me look it up. It comes up as soon as you look up Asmongold.
And if we don't have the Twitch stream, I guess you guys can just react to that tomorrow after that debacle goes down live. But yeah, this is Asmongold's. Let's start with the left picture here. Let's enhance the left picture.
Oh yeah, what a studio vibe.
This is his room. This is his Diet Coke army here on the right. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Kanye West earlier, Zach, and there is mental illness happening here. There is severe.
Asmongold?
Yes, there is something mentally ill happening here. He's growing. I mean, his room looks like Resident Evil Biohazard. If anyone's played that game, that right there is a cockroach that was crawling on him on stream.
Are these recent, or is this just like?
Yeah, these are recent. Yeah,
he posted them himself.
He has done like house tours where he showed off his gross house. Yeah, I mean, he's socially isolated, and he was living. His mom did live with him, and then unfortunately died in a very tragic way. She was kind of like going in and out of the hospital, and then there was like a major medical tragedy where I don't even know how to put this the right way. I think she exploded. She died in this really tragic way where she exploded. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but I'm laughing.
What do you mean exploded? Like what is the medical nomenclature for this illness that you're describing? You're like, have you ever seen Harry Potter 3? When the ant, really triggers the man and the little boy who lived, and is that what happened?
Chat, you can't. This is not funny. No one in chat should laugh at that. But she did tragically, really sadly pass away, and I think he is suffering. But yeah, it doesn't mean you can go online and yeah, exactly. He's doing a Jewish doctor thing. Yeah, it's really if you lose your mom in a tragic way, it's not good.
Become a Nazi.
So everyone, love your moms, love your family members, and just try to be a positive person. But I do think that Twitch.
People are saying that he tried to get his mom taxidermied. Is that
okay? Well, all right, we gotta move off the mom. I mean, he's like. That's why the room is decaying.
Asmongold was on his Norman Bates fucking arc. Oh my god, this is crazy. I'm reading the lore. You can't tease something like that on the Vanguard podcast and not deliver. I'm not going to be able to fucking think straight until I find out more about this woman.
It's the scene from Psycho in the shower, but Asmongold can't go near the shower, so she just lives. He's like, oh wait, the water's running. I gotta go. But folks, I'll let you figure out the rest of that lore.
It's crazy,
on your
actually.
own.
Do you know who did reply immediately and send his thoughts and prayers after Asmongold lost his beloved mom? He got a nice shout out from the Vauschmeister.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah, exactly. Like I said, not a laughing matter. Anyone in the chat that laughed or said I should clean up what I said, that's fucked up on you. But yeah, I mean,
where did you find out this though? I'm reading a lot of Twitter right now, and I'm not getting any specifics about exploding mom.
I am young and cultured, and I know what's going on with everyone. I know that Aiden Roth sniffed that chair. I know everything. But I do think, going back to sort of the controversy, I do think that, and depending on what he says on this Hasan stream, Asmongold is getting very close to getting banned from Twitch.
Oh, really?
I think this? Yeah, Twitch is a lot more censorious than YouTube. They have kicked people like
Jeff Bezos.
I mean, people like Vaush and Destiny got kicked off for not even the craziest things they've said, for arguing about trans issues. And I think
Cracker, right? Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, but it was mainly the trans issue. I think with both of them, that there was certain people on the Twitch community board that were really insistent on that issue. I don't think that same thing is happening with. I don't think there's like a large Muslim or Arab part of the Twitch community board right now, and Asmongold is one of their biggest streamers, so they are starting to be more gun shy about bans. But depending on what he says on the Hasan stream right now, I think I do think he's getting pretty close. He still will have a career on YouTube. His YouTube's huge. Oh yeah, what do we got? Are they still talking right here?
Hold on.
Oh, he's so sexy.
They're like the way that they're analyzed by the in-group.
Chat, who's gooning right now?
Power, if they're being analyzed as like an intractable, inalienable group of like a force almost that is like completely monolithic. Yes, if you were to say that the conservatism demonstrated by certain groups is inferior to I don't know, like broader. It's not even that their conservatism is different. It's just conservatism adjusted to their material conditions as well.
I feel like you kind of have the same viewpoint on this that I do, though. It's just that, like, your vocabulary is different.
No,
I think that
of course not. Because to me, it's not like the cultural differences.
No.
I like to say that there's a universality to hogs. I call conservatives hogs all the time. I do hog watch, whatever, right? And
I've seen it.
And the reason why I don't have an issue saying that, even though many people get very upset at me when I say things like that, is because conservatism or liberalism, okay, is just simply a way of understanding the world. Reactionary approaches to understanding the world is simply a way that you look at the regular stimuli that you experience on a daily basis, and your analysis can change. Your analysis can very easily change, and you can be an entirely different person. There's a shit ton of people that are in my community that used to be right-wing on one issue or many other issues that have over time understood and demonstrated
it's kind of boring
and have changed their mind.
Yeah, he's too hot. I get lost in his eyes.
Conservative. Whereas
you guys,
that's a big part of the Hasan Piker appeal.
In conversation,
he's a thirst trap.
Let's see Asmon's next response, and then we can pull out.
That is associated with this like entire group of individuals, and entire group of people, instead of individualizing them as like people that might have a different perspective than you that can change over time, you end up treating them as the other.
Yeah.
And that is what I try to fight against on a regular basis here as well. Like, there are groupings that are appropriate, like, for example, Nazis, people who believe in, Nazi ideology or fascist ideology. You can group them just as well as you can group like socialists or any other form of ideology, and you can associate certain aspects of their understanding of the world as like, you can ascribe certain aspects of the way that they analyze the world as good or bad. But when you
Asmongold's just going to agree
cultures, that's
and back down.
Opportunity for historically, at least.
Yeah, you missed it, Gavin. He was like, I think we're pretty much in agreement on this matter. And
no, we're not. People end up experiencing.
But you do agree that those viewpoints, though, are worse, right?
What do you mean?
Well, like, for example, being it's against the law to be gay. Like, this is a worse viewpoint.
I think it's
okay.
I think that bigotry
like
of that sort is, of course, abhorrent. I do not agree with that at all. But how would
you define that?
But
like, would you say? Would you say conservatism?
This guy cares so much about
LGBT
LGBT rights.
I think conservatism is wrong. That's the way I see it. I do personally consider it to be inferior, but I also have the understanding that like the conservatives here in the United States of America are conservative within the boundaries that are permissible to American society. They respond to American material conditions. If the conservative mindset, which can...
All right, Asmon's just going to back down on this whole stream now.
It doesn't seem like he's really trying to argue. He's just like trying to backtrack.
It's kind of boring. I don't know.
Yeah, we can pull out.
Pull out game strong.
Yeah, Asmongold's never had to in a day in his life.
I'm sure there'll be a good clip from that later.
Yeah, we'll get to the highlight reel tomorrow. We'll watch it tomorrow. It's only a day away.
But yeah, final thoughts. Reconsult your text. Everyone download World of Warcraft. It's a great new expansion. And, I'm also playing, for the gamers out there who've been tuning into this gamer-related clip, Metaphor Refantasio just came out, and it's all about racism and how it's wrong. So check that out.
Help me say that.
Gamers, check it out.
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate your insight on Asmongold, Griffin. If this phenomena continues, we'll definitely have to get you back on here to continue tracking this man. And it is funny though how these people, you said he's like basically become a right-wing grifter. So you're a right-wing grifter, you're sympathetic to the Republican Party, but now you're all of a sudden going to turn around and act like you care so much about gay people and LGBT rights. Like, then why the fuck are you a Republican? Why aren't you like a bleeding heart progressive or whatever? Like, if that's your number one issue. And I judge a society by how they treat their LGBT Q members.
He's a log cabin Republican, damn it, just like Lincoln.
Anyway, interesting stuff. But we appreciate your insights and opinions, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to